afternoon, everybody. It's Joel Birongi. Let me try this up first. Before I go live on Facebook, too, let me just share with you here the subject of this video. First part. Okay. English on the Congo Brazzaville. I'll share the second part. Okay, you guys, bear with me. It's my first Facebook Live. We're going to talk about the Manifesto of the Congolese Dream, or the Manifesto for the Liberation of Congo Brazzaville. Today I'm going to present the situation about my home country, and I'm going to share the link here about that, and I'm going to go on Facebook Live too in a minute. Let me share the link of the manifesto so you guys can read it. Also, I'm going to grab the link of the manifesto so you guys can download it and read it. Read the manifesto at the same time that I'm going to be talking about it. I'm going to start the Facebook Live in a minute. Let me just this. Okay, I'm going to grab the link. There we go. I shared the link. That's the link of the Manifesto for the liberation of Congo Brazzaville, which is this one. That's the link of the Manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville. That's what I just shared with you. And we're going to go work on it, but I'm going to connect on Facebook Live first so we can have that discussion about the Manifesto for the liberation of Congo Brazzaville. What is it that we're trying to share? So let me just see if I can. Share that stream. I'm gonna share also on my LinkedIn. Just bear with me for a minute. I'm gonna go. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you again. I'm gonna start my Facebook Live too. Get some tea. Good afternoon, everybody. Uh, okay, I'm just gonna. Okay, let me try. Okay, guys. Good afternoon. It's Gervais Birongi here. Today is June 21st, 2020. Uh, it's a special day because we're going to share some information about Congo Brazzaville. So, just for you to know, the reason why I'm going to be looking this way a little bit because I'm on uh, YouTube Live for the first time and Facebook at the same time. I'm trying. I've never done both together before. So please bear with me. It's kind of new dealing with that technology stuff. You know, I'm not really a IT guy. I'm a quality control guy. So uh, please bear with me. So today is to basically roll out one of the most important, one of the most powerful documents put together by the diaspora uh, overseas. This is called the Manifesto for the Liberation of Congo Brazzaville. This is the English version. A couple of months ago, I believe about 2 months, we basically came together and shared the French version of this manifesto. This manifesto is the roadmap for the future of my original country, Congo Brazzaville. We've been working very hard to try to make sure that the future of our people there is better than what we have today. So today we're gonna unveil the English part, basically for that for our American audience, for our uh, all these the English speaking diaspora, all the English speaking countries, African countries, or everybody who can understand English. That's the version for you, for United States, of also for the United States government, for the Canadian government, so they can understand what is it that this young generation of Congolese of Brazzaville, we call ourselves Congo Debout, or here in English we say Congo Rise Up. We say Congo Rise Up in English. And what is it that we put together? What kind of map we put together to help our country, Congo Brazzaville, get out of dictatorship? We've been under dictatorship for the past 40 years and even before. So under Mr. Denis Sassou Nguesso, which is the so-called president, that's how he call himself. But for us, he's not our president. He's just a dictator who basically imposed himself. So this manifesto for the future of Congo Brazzaville, or we call this also the Congolese Dream of the 12th Department for a new Congo Brazzaville. The reason why we're talking about the Congolese Dream of the 12th Department, the 12th Department is like uh, it's like the states in America. In America, you have 50 or 51 different states. So The department here, when you're going to hear the word department, means it's like the different states that we have over there in Congo Brazzaville. So this is the Congolese Dream, put together by sons and daughters originally from Congo Brazzaville, but who live in different diaspora. The United States diaspora, the Canadian diaspora, the French diaspora, uh, the diaspora from I believe England also, so or Great Britain. So basically, what happened here? We came together, living in these different places of the world, and we put together a map to help our country to get out of dictatorship. So we've been doing this work for quite a while, but the manifesto is a new way of addressing dictatorship, especially from Congo Brazzaville. And for those who may not understand or may not know, and it's actually in a document, you're going to be able to read, especially at the beginning of those pages. We make a little resume of what the history of our country is coming to when we're talking about what is it that this dictatorship has done to our country. So for the first pages in this manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville, or the Congolese Dream, the manifesto of the Congolese Dream, I'm going to resume it that way to make it easy. So you understand that we're trying to project ourselves in a better future, but it's not just about dreaming here. It's about a process put together by sons and daughters of originally from that country living overseas to give a direction to our people on how we get out of their dictatorship. Let me see. I got some technical. Let me make sure here. Take away. Okay. All right. Just adjusting the internet. Let me have that cheat. Okay. So um, I was saying that this document give an opportunity to our people to have a new way of doing things. But he also first described the history of what we've been going through under this dictator. So I may not be able to read all of it. It's actually not a lot. It's about 34 pages only, like you can see. All right. Let me show it to YouTube. It's about only 34 pages. So please, I put the link in there. You have I share the link here on YouTube, and I share the link with you here on the top. Uh, Here also, I share the link here on the top of the title, so you can click and download it and read it and study it. We actually asking Congolese to study it because this is our future. So what we're trying to say here, we're trying to explain to our people how we're going to move forward. And for you, just for you to know, for the history, we did took when we pull out the first version, the French version, we went to our people, basically to Congolese of the diaspora and of our country. We make the link free, so everybody start downloading. I think we have over 70,000 download or something like that, and I think we had close to 1 million Congolese support, by what I understood when I talked with my partners in Congo Debout or Congo Rise Up. We talk about, what kind of impact we had so far. So we're talking about something like over 70,000 download and I think 1 million or 1.2 million people support of this document, which is the future of our country, which is the map of the future of our country. So we actually went to the people. We did it differently. We went to the people. We went to look for the people support. That's what we're trying to stress, especially to our United States audience or the United States government or the Canadian government, whoever going to be looking at this video and understanding what we're trying to do here. We did went to the people differently than all these dictators, Mr. Sassou Nguesso, who they making decisions. They don't care about the population or our people, what our people think about the type of decision that they've been taking, who affect millions, about 4.5 million people. My country is actually a small country. We're about only 4.5 to 5 million people. It's a small country in the central of Africa. And it's a French-speaking African country. So we was colonized by French. So you're going to understand that this process is really, really changing the dynamics of the way things have been going on in my country. So that's why this is this process or this document is basically revolutionary, to be very honest. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna read a little bit. Okay, I'm not gonna read, I can't read all of it, but I'm gonna read a little bit, and I'm gonna urge you to go read, and so you can understand and grasp our mindset. Because what we're doing here, we're not just coming to make an offer to our people, but we actually challenging the the way things are done right now. We're challenging the mindset in which our country been led for the past 40 years by Denis Sassou Nguesso and his party PCT, and the so-called opposition who actually here to just accommodate him, help him stay in power. He's been in power over 40 years. He's one of the longest living dictators in Central Africa. He is one of the longest serving dictators in Africa, in Central Africa. That's what the big deal is here, because we've been dealing with somebody who maybe uh, crossed over 4 or 5 American presidents. So in the United States, we've been changing president every 4 years or sometimes 8 if somebody win re-election. We may have between 4 to 5 presidents here in the United States compared to Congo, where we've been having the same dictators who don't want to leave power. So my generation of Congolese, we have made a decision to make sure that the mediocrity, the hatred, and the fear that has been installed in our country the past 40 years don't have a future. We refuse to comply to that dictatorship mindset, to that dictatorship hateful way of leading people, and to the destruction that's been done to our country. And I'm going to read some of the excerpt. You're going to understand what I'm talking about. Because uh, until you actually dive into this, it's very hard to kind of grasp what we're trying to do. You're also going to have the opportunity to read what is the direction that we Congo Debout or Congo Rise Up in English, we trying to push our country to go through. Because so far it's been a lot of discussion, political discussion, people trying to, put themselves in a position to become politician, but they're trying to do all that under that same Sassouist mindset. Sassouist come from Mr. Denis Sassou Nguesso, which is the so-called leader of Congo Brazzaville, who imposed himself 40 years. So we call his mindset Sassouist mindset. And then we're going to describe you what the manifesto mindset is. The manifesto vision, the manifesto future that we're pushing for our country. And I repeat, this manifesto was put together by Congolese people living overseas. We live in different countries, we came together. Just for you to understand. And by the way, we are from different tribes because that's very important when it comes to uh, uh, our country. We're talking about here. You're talking about 12 departments, which is like the 12 different states. We all came from. We coming from different of this. We don't come from the same department. We're coming from different part of the country. It's just also to explain to you that we're doing this in a unification way. We unify men and women from Congo Brazzaville. We coming together to give a new roadmap to our country. That's what this manifesto of the Congolese Dreams means. So, what I'm gonna do, I know I don't have that much time today, because some of us still gotta go to work. We working very hard. In quality control, you guys still gotta show up to work to make sure that quality is done. And this is a quality control process also that we're gonna go through here for our country. So I'm gonna turn to a couple of pages here and explain basically also uh, who Congo Debout or Congo Rise Up is. Basically, us, the group who put that together. And I'm gonna read a little bit so you can understand why we're doing this. So that's on page number 3, objectives. In a participative democracy in which the function of the national government is to protect the social structure, the system, discrimination should never be part of the equation of the communal and everyday lives of citizens. As such, it is imperative to put an emphasis on transparency as a guarantee of social political stability. In the presence of incompetent government, which is unwilling to carry out its sovereign mission, civil society has an obligation to play the role of referee by monitoring the implementation and the execution of national programs, also the policies for the well-being of the population. So civil society. So Congo Debout, basically, that group who put together that manifesto, we are actually part of what we call the civil society. So we just are citizen from that country, Congo Brazzaville. So because of all the destruction, all the hate, all the division that have been pushed on our people for the past decades, at some point, the civil society got to take a stand here. And that's the stand that we're taking with that manifesto for the liberation of Congo Brazzaville. That's the stand. So we are back to basically Congo Debout or Congo Rise Up is the civil society that had enough of that mediocrity and decided to now go and put something in place to get out of country, out of dictatorship. So I'm gonna jump in a little bit again. Say the role of the Congolese civil society is to establish a fair dialogue between the various layers of the Congolese nation, political actor in power, opposition member, non-profit organization, the most vulnerable groups such as indigenous people, women, the elderly, children, young adults. The Congolese civil society has a great deal of responsibility for the issues connected with the sustainability and protection of the social fabric. However, in the face of political regime and rulers which have abdicated their responsibility, the civil society should play the role of protector of social issues while guaranteeing the freedom of every citizen. So I'm going to jump in again a little bit and get to page 4. So we can start to understand what we're trying to talk about here. Faced with the misery and inaction of the people in charge, civil society cannot maintain the same mindset of inactivity as the government. For this purpose, and in sympathy with the misery of the Congolese people, we propose a series of solutions with the objective of taking control of the nation in order to restore good government, law, justice, equality, and the redistribution of national wealth under a new national order called mindset, way of thinking and working. Basically, a new way of thinking and working. So we bring in here to the table a new mindset to challenge the mediocrity that have been pushed on us for 40 years. So, like I'm showing here, we on page 4 of the Manifesto of the Liberation of Congo Brazzaville. On top here, we're saying that we bring in a new, we're saying here that Congolese people, we propose a series of solutions with the objective of taking control of the nation in order to restore good government, law, justice, equality, and the redistribution of national wealth under a new national order called mindset, a new way of thinking and working. So we're separating ourselves already here for you to understand, compare to the Sassuist mindset. So over here, you're going to hear down the line, what is that new mindset about? What is it that we're trying to do here? And I'm going to read a little bit more here. Faced with immense failure linked to. So these are the failures that's been happening in my country under the dictatorship for the past 40 years. And I'm going to read it for you. Poor governance, mismanagement, the destruction of health system, educational system, social system, the imbalance and poor distribution of national wealth, the plundering of natural resources, the misappropriation of public funds, the destruction of the ecosystem and the pollution of the environment, the colonization of certain departments of the country by our own fellow citizens, the discrimination against women, children, and indigenous people called pygmies, the illicit enrichment of a category of Congolese at the expense of others, the religionist and tribalism, the public work project that have been very poorly carried out, thus creating a chokehold on Congolese people who need those services, imbalance within the Congolese armed forces, the multiple changes of the constitution, bias in the judicial system, police and public administration service, serious violation of human rights, women's rights, and abuse of power, etc. So Congolese citizens are called upon to make great choices and probably great political chances in hope of improving their well-being. So now I'm going to describe to you that dictator guy and his people. The Sassou PCT system, PCT, that's his party. That PCT that you see here, which is called the Congolese Labour Party, that's the party of Mr. Sassou Nguesso. The Sassou PCT system, Congolese Labour Party, can be defined as conglomerate of individuals from the Congolese and foreign civil society, multinationals, political parties, individuals in power, their cronies, and the member of the pseudo-opposition and religious group. This system has put in place schemes leading Congo Brazzaville to all the evils mentioned above. On this, the duty of every Congolese is to combine their effort in order to topple the Sassou PCT system. That's exactly what we're doing. We have combined in our effort. We have combined in our thinking. We have combined in our mindset to challenge that Sassou PCT system. That's what the Manifesto for the Liberation of Congo Brazzaville is about. That's what this manifesto is about. So this is on page 5. So on this, the duty of every Congolese to combine their effort in order to topple the Sassou PCT system. Therefore, this manifesto should serve as a guide to rekindle the flame of hope and the dream of every Congolese. This is the manifesto of the Congolese dream, put together by Congolese. Supporting this initiative will mean the unconditional adoption of the liberation of our country. This is what this is about. It's about sons and daughters originally from one country, Congo Brazzaville, who are fighting and putting in place a new mindset to achieve the liberation of our country, Congo Brazzaville, under a new national order called mindset, new way of thinking and working, and leadership. Basically, we're going to be leading, or we're going to push Congolese to lead us in the future a different way. That's what this document is about. That was on page 5. I'm going to move a little bit. Okay, so this is very long, page 6, but I may have to maybe read it a little bit because you guys don't know our history. That will go me from page 6 to page 8. So I'm going to take my time and read that part because uh, we would like you to be familiar with what actually going on with our country, what happened, why are we doing this. So it's going to be on page 6, between page 6 and page 8. So if you want to understand why we put together this new mindset, why did these Congolese guys and gals put together this new manifesto of the Congolese dream, or manifesto for the liberation of Congo Brazzaville, why did they do that? For you to understand us, you have to read from page 6 to page 8. It's going to give you it's more than what we have here, because we cannot put together all the devastation that Mr. Sassou Nguesso have done to our country in the last 40 years, because it's too much. It's too much information. And by the way, we have a lot of documentation, because we believe in a documentation. If you need more information about what he did, we have some videos, we have some documentation, we have some pictures, because we understand that sometimes when people are talking, they think that it's just maybe because we are maybe trying to oppose them only. No. We have proof of what is put here, and it's even documented on the internet. You can go read the history of Congo Brazzaville. You can go watch videos. It's actually verifiable, basically. So you're going to understand that this generation of Congolese who have decided to put together this manifesto don't want that mediocrity and that hatred to keep destroying our country. So I'm going to read that part because it's important, and I know that many people don't know my country, don't understand, especially from a English audience, American audience, African American audience, all these guys. So maybe even if you don't read, you can actually listen on this video and kind of understand what we're fighting against and why we are doing what we are doing. So I'm going to take my time a little bit. I know that, we have to go to work in a couple of hours because this is America, we got to work. But I'm going to take my time, and then I'm going to discuss a little bit what kind of solution was put here to fight that. And of course, the reason why we come public is also to request your help, your support. We need the help and support of everybody who can understand this manifesto and want to see this manifesto come to life in Congo Brazzaville. The truth is, what we're doing here can be replicated in other countries too, because this solution can be used by other countries too who are under oppression, to be very honest. Like we know that the most of the Central African country who was colonized by France have dictators been there 50, 40, 60 years. And when the dictator died, they put their son. And that's one of the reasons why we're challenging Mr. Sassou Nguesso right now, because he's trying to or extend his power during the so-called next election in 2021, or he's trying to put his sons in power, like they did in other country, Central African country like Gabon, where the father was in power for 40 years. Now the son been in power for about 15 years. So y'all know where we're going with this. We want to stop that process, that way of doing things in our countries. When we are one of those richest country in Africa, we have all the most of the resources like oil, diamonds, and natural resources, you know. So it's very this is very difficult for us to sometimes to explain. But I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try to read a little bit from page 6 to 8, so you have an idea of who we're dealing with. And then I'm gonna go to the next step, which is the manifesto mindset, the solutions, and so on and so forth. So from page 6, fact and finding. 1. The Republic of Congo Brazzaville is one of the few African countries that had peacefully and successfully transitioned to democracy. So listen very well. The National Sovereign Conference in 1991 and the series of bloodless election, presidential, legislative, local, bear witness to this. But the dream of living a democratic life was shattered by the 1997 coup d'etat, by which Sassou Nguesso used force and the support of France and the Angolan armed forces in order to retake power in 1997. This halt to democracy in the Congo Brazzaville has had social political repercussion. Today in Congo Brazzaville, there is talk of facade of fake democracy set up by a dictatorial government. Number 2, this democracy is only the hidden criminal side of a dictatorship that is characterized by repeated changes to the constitution, which is always tailored to keep Sassou Nguesso in power against the will of the people. These endless changes have allowed the dictator Denis Sassou Nguesso to force through a constitutional amendment allowing him to serve a third term. He murdered any Congolese who oppose him and his obvious disrespect of the Constitution. In his recent bid at re-election, he proclaimed himself as winner against the will of the people by an electoral list in which he decided that he had 60% of the vote, even though as outgoing president he had been eliminated in the first round with 8% of the vote. So you see, somebody who went to the so-called election, since he controlled the army, he controlled everything with his militia. When the result came out, he actually had 8% in the first term. Because in Congo Brazzaville, they go to a first term, and then and the last two go on a second term to become president. This man had 8% support of the country. And that was in 2016, when he stole the election again. He stole democracy in 1997 with a war. And in 2016, look at all these decades after, he only got 8% of the people support. But he stole the election anyway and stayed in power since then. And that's what they're planning to do in 2021. Again, that's why this manifesto come in the middle of that, to stop that nonsense. So let me keep reading. Thus, to make everyone bend to his will, he has installed a climate of terror characterized by intimidation, arbitrary arrest, judicial witch hunts, and house arrest of Congolese hostile to his power. To illustrate this allegation, we will focus on the case of General Jean-Marie Michel Mukoko and André Okombi Salisa, who were candidates in the 2016 presidential election, but curiously find themselves currently in prison for refusing to recognize the dictator's victory. So he basically jailed his opponent. He jailed those who actually did better than him at the election. And the General Jean-Michel Mukoko is he used to be chief of staff of the army of our country, and he actually the one who actually was winning the election in 2016. He's been in jail for about the past 2 to 3 years now, and he must be freed. Moreover, the bombing in the department of the Pool were justified by the fact that the vast majority of the population of this region challenged the heist in the 2016 presidential election. So this part of the population was really opposed to him. They never accepted him stealing the election. So he went on a killing spree over there. He bombarded over 400 villages. It's basically like a department, like let's say Florida, that you go just destroy. He basically brought that department to his knees, killing tens of thousands of people. As a result of this protest, the region was subjected to a severe ordeal for 2 years, from 2016 to 2018, with heavy artillery bombardment, while humanitarian organizations were banned from rescuing the inhabitants of this department. Number 4, on the social front, there is a weak human development index characterized by the extreme dilapidation of social sanitary structure, even though the country has registered numerous budgetary surplus. So they got more money than they needed. He could not get the basic stuff put together. He could not get electricity, water, running 24/7 like he is in the country where we live in today, like United States, like in Atlanta, Georgia, where I live. They can't do that with all these trillions of dollars that they add through oil and all our natural resources. He could not do that in 40 years. 40 years of power. To make matters worse, the majority of the population lacks clean drinking water and electricity. Number 5. Number 6, on the economic front, economic bankruptcy was created intentionally by the SASU PCT system because of repeated practice of corruption, fraud, embezzlement of public funds, favoritism, nepotism, impunity, and above all, mismanagement of state-owned enterprise by the Sassou Nguesso family, Christelle Sassou Nguesso, Claudia Sassou Nguesso, that's his kids, Edgar Nguesso, Wilfine Nguesso, Antoinette Chibota, and so on. Antoinette, that's his wife, which is the so-called first lady. But Christelle Sassou Nguesso, Claudia Sassou Nguesso, Edgar Nguesso, Wilfine Nguesso, these are his children, and they're in power. They are politicians in my country. So they're supposed to be the next replacement. That's why this manifesto is here on the table, to stop that bullshit, to be very honest here. I'm not even going to play with my words here. So this economic bankruptcy has resulted in the closure of state and private enterprises and the rampant unemployment of young people who do not work, who do not know where to turn. Number 7, politically, the practice of this dictatorial regime do little to direct the country toward a bring future for future generations. Number 8, on the contrary, the dictatorial regime continues its destruction of the social economic fabric. Number 9, the exclusion by intimidation, by house arrest, uh, the arbitrary imprisonment of certain members of the Republican opposition is an insult to the entire free world, to all Democrats of the world, and is intolerable in the middle of the 21st century. So you see, there is no democracy in Congo Brazzaville. It's a dictatorship. Number 10, the lack of either political and inclusive dialogue under the supervision of the United Nations or social system remain stumbling blocks preventing the development of Congo Brazzaville. So that was on page 7. So I'm going on page 8. Number 11, the most imminent danger in is Sassou's constitution with this its criminogenic Article 10 and 96, institutionalizing crime at the highest level of government, and the formation of the pseudo and dummy opposition accommodating the views of the dictatorship. So our so-called opposition being there to accommodate his power for too long. They be there to accommodate his mediocrity. They're not doing anything different because they're getting paid. They're getting paid. They're getting their paycheck. And you're gonna understand how we addressing that part. Maybe later on. So now on page 9, we're talking about the manifesto. So I'm going to read that part a little bit, not all of it, but just the big point. Because it's a lot, so you're gonna have to read it yourself because it's a lot going on. I cannot read it loud, but I'm gonna go to the couple of points so you understand the drastic difference between what they've been doing for 40 years and what we have started for the past, I believe, over 2 years now. It's time to put it in place to take our country to the Congolese dream. The manifesto. So that's page number 9. So that's where we started to talk about the manifesto. We started to talk about how we're gonna liberate our country. We started to talk about where we going, what needs to happen, how this change gonna happen. So it's a very powerful, it's a very detailed. We're trying to address the biggest line of challenges that we have in our country to make that change. So I'm gonna read a little bit, and then you guys gonna have to, like I said, the link is there. Download the manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville, understand what we're trying to do, and please support us. And I think I forgot to put. I'm gonna put my email. I forgot to add my email here. Let me add my email here on YouTube, so you can send us any comment or anything that any kind of support. We're gonna talk and okay. I put it gbirongi@gmail.com. I put my email here. So uh so my email is gbirongi@gmail.com. So you can send us any questions, or if you want, or maybe if you want us to email you or send you the manifesto, we can do that too. So I'm going to start reading on page 9. Manifesto. We believe that fairness, transparency, and trust will lead to growth and prosperity for the 12 department of Congo Brazzaville. The 12 department, like I said before, is like the state, United States. You have there's 50 states or 51 states. So the 12 department is the different part that compose Congo Brazzaville. So we say that we believe that fairness, transparency, and trust will lead to growth and prosperity for the 12 department of Congo Brazzaville. Excuse me. Respect for values will restore our country's reputation and its standing in the international community. For this reason, it is imperative to reassure our economic partners by setting up an independent judicial system for the good reputation for our country. In this regard, ethical behavior must be established in the decision-making sphere in Congo Brazzaville. We're all about ethics. This is what we're challenging them because we're trying to correct that corruption, that hatred, that fear that been pushed into our people mindset for decades. Thus, we propose that the 12 departments of Congo Brazzaville unite in approving this new federal project framed by a new national order and called mindset, the new mindset, and the new economic force. Now, this is where the partnership with United States of America, with Canada, with France, with United Kingdom, with Germany, with other African countries come in place into the new economic force, because we're gonna have to put a process where you guys gonna be able to come do business in Congo without being afraid of losing your investments. So, like we say here, thus we propose that the 12 Department of Congo Brazzaville unite in approving this new federal project framed by a new national order called Mindset and the new economic force directed and controlled by more than 51% of Congolese. So we need ownership. What we're saying here is the deal that Mr. Sassou Nguesso made and some previous before him didn't give a lot of ownership when it comes to the economical force in our own country. So this generation demands to have more ownership on the way we work on the resources. This project focuses first on individual freedoms, the total sovereignty of our nation, the economic decentralization of department, law, real compliance with the law, principle of zero tolerance. So we're not going to tolerate mediocrity anymore. We're not going to accept that. We're not going to accept to be mediocre, to be poor. We're challenging that. That's what the manifesto is doing. Second, the rebirth of the education system, the construction of the public health system, the reconstruction of the social fabric, and the establishment of a Republican army serving the development of the country. Finally, the restoration of the state, the unification of the Congolese people, in short, democracy, construction, and the real development of Congo Brazzaville with strong institutions and instead of strong men. So we're pushing for strong institutions. We don't need another strong man. We had strong men for decades. We good. We don't need you, Sassou Nguesso, anymore. You had 40 years. We need strong institutions. We don't need you anymore. You can leave. We actually have been waiting for them to give their resignation. Him, his leadership, and the opposition. We've been waiting for their resignation for a while now. We've been asking for it for a while now. Number one, we're on page 9 still. Our commitment to a unified Congo Brazzaville. Through this manifesto, Congo Debout, so the civil society, Congo Debout or Congo Rise Up. Congo Debout, that's in French, but in English it's Congo Rise Up. So that's the name of the group. That group who came out of the civil society. Through this manifesto, Congo Debout encourage and advocate the reconciliation of the Congolese people as stipulated by our national anthem, patriotism and national security. The first step will be to strengthen our traditional concept of dialogue, Mbongi. We push in here for a dialogue called Mbongi in our traditional language, which is going to allow us to have a discussion, a therapy to start solving all the pain, all the hurt that this dictator are put in our country, which will be the starting point for the process of healing the wounds of our people. We had two civil wars between that time, this past 40 years. Two civil wars. These men have killed tens of thousands civilians. He has destroyed departments with his militia. So we have to have that time where we're going to get to the table and start to talk about how we're going to heal those different tribes who've been hurt under this dictatorship for 40 years. So this is what this dialogue concept, this dialogue concept called Mbongi is crucial for us to start the healing process. So you see that the manifesto called for that from the beginning, because we have done the manifesto with the people's support. Never forget that. The difference between us and Sassou Nguesso is that we have the people with us. This is our strength. That's why we're now presenting this manifesto to United States of America, to Canada, to Great Britain, to all these English-speaking countries, even African English countries, so they can understand our pain and also understand how we have decided to take our country to a new direction with the support of the people. That's the difference between us and Sassou Nguesso. The last time he had a poll, he had 8% of support of the country. That was in 2016. We have 92%. We are the 92%. Because that 8% basically is most of them are people from this tribe, the Mboshi, and some of those who make money with him, who steal money from the people with him. Some of those who are enriched themselves with his power, since he's been in power the last 40 years. That's the 8% that he has. We have the 92%. So we have the majority of Congolese with us. That's the reality. And that's why he's so scared about what we're doing. At first, he thought that when he heard about the manifesto, when we put out in French a couple of months ago, he thought that, to be very honest, that white people did that for us. No. Congolese put that together. Because he could not grasp the fact that young Congolese people are put on the table a new mindset to transform our country, to take our people to the Congolese dream. All right, I'm going to continue. The interdepartmental Mbongi will be put in place a compensation formula for each of the Congolese victims. So we're thinking about reparation here. Since, just let me dive in a little bit here, since we're in, I'm in the United States, you guys know about what's going on with the Black Lives Movement. Now they're asking for reparation. They're trying to make sure that all these Black lives, that have been traumatized, killed for all these years, that also that the balance be put a little bit better for the African American community in America. All the 400 years of slavery and the 100 years of Jim Crow, and now the police brutality and everything that we're going through here, they have to be compensated to, because they could not be well for a long time under what they live. So in Congo Brazzaville, we've been going through almost the same thing too. The population of Congolese of Brazzaville been going through this process where only a minority have enjoyed the fruit of all our natural resources. All the money being enjoyed by a little small minority, where the majority have been kept in poverty. I'm excusing this. That's my son's calling me for Father's Day, but I'm on live. I'm gonna have to decline for that. Yeah, sorry, my sons are calling me. It's Father's Day. So, by the way, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. And, may God bless you and keep your head up. I know that the time are tough right now, but let's keep our head up and trying to push for a new future. So, uh, so we're gonna need all these Congolese victims under this regime gonna need compensation. So that's what this manifesto call for also. So I'm turning on page 10. The Congo d'abord or Congo first principle should be a cardinal value guaranteeing. Now we're gonna say what is it that this manifesto is guaranteeing here or putting in place to help the people. 100-year peace treaty between the 12 departments. A non-aggression or non-war treaty between the departments will be put in place to ensure the peace, harmony, and development of our country. So we're trying to make sure here that we don't want no more civil war. And we don't need a civil war for Mr. Sassou Nguesso to leave power. We're done with that. We have a different mindset, a different vision. It's right here. We need a 100-year peace between all the tribe of Congo Brazzaville. That's what we're calling for. Protection of each Congolese citizen. It is carried out by concept of national security, which stipulate that the fundamental services, air, maritime, port, and land borders, distribution of drinkable water, electricity, telephone, and internet, public health and education system, etc., must be effectively regulated or controlled by state-owned enterprises. Congolese companies will have the right to obtain subsidies and will be encouraged by the vision of economic strength to engage in oil, mining, and agricultural exploitation. That's the economic force that we're talking about. The cooperation and support of department by the central government. The 12 departments must engage in close, respectful, and direct collaboration to promote their development. People will be free to live and carry out their agricultural, commercial, and or even political activities in a department of their choice. Exchanges of skills among departments will be encouraged. So we got to work together. Different departments, basically different states. States got to work together. The central government will provide equal political, economic, and military assistance to all 12 departments of Congo. We don't have that right now under Sassou Nguesso. There is no equal political, economic, and military assistance to all 12 departments. No. He focused only on his tribe. That's where all the development are. In Oyo, that's basically his city or village, whatever you want to call it. That's why he did all this construction. The big town like Brazzaville or Pointe Noire, where we have all the economic force, the businesses, the political part is not built. All he cares about is his own people. And that's how he's been building for the past 40 years. The emancipation of the Congolese people. This emancipation must be done by advocating patriotism as a cardinal value for the development of Congo. Its value the love of the country by giving priority to the Congolese. However, it should not harm foreigners residing in our territory and multinational operating in Congo. This emancipation will be achieved by quality education for all, free and easy access to health care for all, setting up the social system, creating well-paying jobs, promoting of entrepreneur Congolese women, opening up the world of education and employment to indigenous people, pygmy, fighting against corruption and fraud, redeveloping the territory by rebuilding the solid and sustainable infrastructure, a fair redistribution of national wealth. So Okay, so I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I'm just going to kind of trying to resume, jump a little bit more faster, uh, further down. We're on page 11 here. The nation ambition. The restoration of national unity around the joint project of 12 departments of 12 departments. It will consist of restoring the honor of Congo Brazzaville as it was in the time of President Alphonse Massamba Deba, the man, the man that we call the monster of the industrialization of Congo Brazzaville, for this work in favor of making this region into the economic motor of the country. So that was one of the first presidents that we have after the colonization, who kept the industrialization going on that happened during the colonization. So he kept the country building. So this guy, Sassou Nguesso, the past 40 years have destroyed all this work that was done during the colonization and after the president Alphonse Massamba Deba took power. He destroyed all everything, the companies, the the industries who's making the manufacturing, all that stuff is gone. The goal of Congo Debout is to make Congo Debout, so Congo Rise Up the group, is to make Congo a leading country and to revive the Congolese dream for every Congolese under a new national order called mindset, Congolese dream, under a new national order called mindset. The Congolese dream will be built around the control of mineral oil, forestry, agricultural resources, and the equitable redistribution of our nation's wealth by the new economical force. So the new economic force is gonna help us make sure that all these natural resources, listen to that, mineral, oil, forestry, agricultural resources, gonna be put to, redistributed across the country to make sure that all the 12 departments basically try. So the Congolese dream could be lived by everybody, not just a few. So that's the concept of that mindset and that new economic force. So on page 12, we put something very important here that you need to understand. We put a note on page 12, very important note. All 12 departments must work for the general interest and to preserve national unity. No department can feel superior to other departments. No ethnic group can dominate or even colonize other ethnic groups. In the context of the general interest and security of the country, the department will give themselves the right to temporarily sanction the unruly department in order to protect and preserve peace in the confederation. So all the 12 departments under that manifesto and mindset have to prosper. We have to go from the mediocrity that we have right now under Mr. Denis Sassou Nguesso for the past 40 years and his children, Christian Nguesso, because they're also in power. That mediocrity that we live in under now, that fear, that poverty, we have the mediocrity to the creation of the middle class through our economic force that we put in place here. Number two, our commitment for the political regime. The proposed political regime is the parliamentary system. So this is where the political change comes in. The proposed political regime is the parliamentary system. The office of president will be suspended until the country's political and social balance is restored. So in page 12, we start to talk about how the system have to change and how this new system going to be put in place. Okay, if we get rid of the terror, what come next? That's what's coming next. It's basically a regime of a parliamentary system where the office of the presidency is going to be put on hold for a while until we go to the transition, until we rebuild, we put together the new the new structure to get to an election maybe 4 or 5 years down the line. But we don't need to go to election in 2021 because it's going to be the same system, the same thing, and the same people. Nothing going to change. What we need is a drastic change now. Our commitment, number three, our commitment for the political mechanism, reform of the political leadership. That's a big deal. Reform of the political leadership. The political system will be based on a decentralization power with three levels in charge of number of responsibilities. The central power, that is the government of Congo Brazzaville, will be responsible for the issues affecting the whole country. It will be in charge of citizenship, national defense, and international trade. The central government will be led by the prime minister, who would assume the role of the head of government and the president of the country. The prime minister, the political party that wins the largest number of parliamentary delegates, MPs or deputies, would form the government and its leader will become the prime minister. The prime minister will appoint MPs who will make up the cabinet. The cabinet makes the decision that define Congo's government policy. The cabinet will consist of a maximum of 12 members. Each department will be represented in the government of Congo. The salary of member of the government can never exceed 5 million CFA francs. The prime minister will be entitled to no more than 2 terms. By the way, that 5 million CFA francs is the top that the prime minister could make. But if I tell you right now, under Denis Sassou Nguesso, the regular ministers make 12 to 15 million CFA francs. They make 12 to 15 million CFA francs. We cut all that stuff in half. That's one of the biggest things we did here to make sure that we change the way politics are done in our country. So people don't think that politics is the way to get rich. We start to talk about it on page 12. So even the prime minister who's going to be leading the country under the new central government could not make more than 5 million CFA francs and could not have more than 2 terms. 2 terms. Terms limit. Nobody going to stay there for 40 years. Terms limit. That's what this manifesto called for. On page 13, the Department of Government will be responsible for issues related to education, healthcare, department road or highway, the electric network, and departmental policy. The Department of Government will be led by the Department Council of 12 members elected by popular vote under the coordination of the central government and civil society. The salary of the members in charge of the Department of Government will not exceed 2.5 million CFA francs. So you see, the prime minister is at 5 million CFA francs. The 12 member elected of the department, the council, the Department of Council of the 12 member will not exceed 2.5 million CFA francs. Right now, these people are making 5 million CFA francs. So a member of the county council will be entitled to no more than 2 terms. So term limit, 2 terms only. The municipal government will be responsible for governing towns and villages. It is responsible for firefighting, street maintenance, garbage collection, and distribution of drinking water. It will be led by the municipal council. So the municipal council of 12 members elected by popular vote under the coordination of the department power and civil society. The salary of members in charge of municipal government will not exceed 1.5 million CFA francs. A member of the city council will be entitled to no more than 2 terms. So you see, terms limit. The money is limited and the terms are limited. In addition, the political commitment will impose a 25-year moratorium against all former leaders or senior officials who have actively contributed to the political or economical decision of previous political regimes thereby leading to financial scandals, economic bankruptcies, looting, financial malfeasance, and acts of physical violence and war in Congo. Those NGOs will be forbidden for the next 25 years. So you could not, they could not do politics for 20. They were going to be banned basically from politics for 25 years. Those who are destroy our country and stole from us. From exercising a political function, from holding a high civilian or military command function, for managing public funds for people. Remarks. A quality control and inspection commission will be set up to assist the transition and ensure that the salaries of political leaders are reduced and that a portion is made available to the people they represent. Future political candidates and public administrators will be subject to training in respect for rights, values, and integrity. That's the big part. And I think I'm gonna let you read because it's a lot. It's a lot going on here. It's a lot of change. But I wanted to give you just and I'm going to jump the hoop to a little bit further, but I'm going to resume that part about talking about that the part about the new government, how we structure it. I'm going to read that part again here. A quality control and inspection commission will be set up to assist the transition and ensure that the salaries of political leaders are reduced and that a portion is made available to the people they represent. Future political candidates and public administrators will be subject to training in respect for rights, values, and integrity. This is the part that many people don't like. Many politicians of Congo don't like. This is the part that many aspiring politicians, all these young folks, our generation who want to take power tomorrow don't like. Because we have drastically in this manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville changed the way politics are done in our country. We are cutting the salaries. We are forcing politicians to be the people that were supposed to be serving population, not coming to politics to enrich themselves. Because in Congo Brazzaville, they have turned politics to a cash machine. And the reason why we're having a hard time getting rid of dictator of Sassou Nguesso is because the other part, those who are not maybe from his tribe, who have been getting paid 15 million, like you hear it, 15 million CFA francs, 12 million CFA francs, 6 million CFA francs, don't want to lose their money. So what they do is they keep him in power. And many of them are in a so-called opposition, which is a false opposition. Because they're just out there to maintain their big paycheck when the average Congolese make 80,000 CFA francs. 80,000 CFA francs. These people are paid 15 million CFA francs, 12 million CFA francs, 6 million CFA francs. And if you see here, even the prime minister in this manifesto will make no more than 5 million CFA francs. So you see the change of mindset. This is where many people don't want to embrace the manifesto because all the political aspiration to become rich to politics has been broken here. Because over here, we're cutting the salaries and we're asking you now to follow ethics. And if you don't, you're going to go to jail for stealing money and you're going to be banned for politics for years. This process never been done in my country. When we're talking about a process of quality control and inspection, is to make sure that this time we're going to make sure that politicians actually do their job, make the life of the population that they represent better, not just take the money, run away, get rich themselves, and leave the majority of the population in poverty and mediocrity. We're going to challenge that. And that's why many people don't like the manifesto, because they know they're going to lose money. or they know they're not going to enrich themselves anymore with politics in my country. That's why we have so much resistance, even from people from our generation who are aspiring people to become in power, because when they read this, they're, oh my God, I'm not getting rich with politics like that anymore. It's a lot, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to jump a little bit to see if I can talk about. We're talking about the parliamentary system, the judicial system. I mean, it's all the reforms are wrote here. But what I want to get to is, I think what we talked about the international community. So on page 17, I jump in on page 17, we say that Congolese who have expertise in industries listed above should be encouraged in entrepreneurial activities in order to keep job creation and economic power in the hand of nationals. This will help the country to move from mediocrity to the creation of a stable middle class in the 12 departments. So you see the mindset of this economic force put together by Congolese. We want to encourage Congolese to become entrepreneurs, to build their country, to create jobs, and to create the middle class, because there is no middle class right now. There is rich and poor. And the rich, three-quarters of the rich are the politicians who turn themselves into business because they're the one who's stealing all the money. And the vulnerable population are still broke. So that's where we are. So I'm going to read again. I'm going to jump a little bit on page 17. This right and freedom will be. First of all, I'm going to read our commitment for the responsibility and right of citizens. The right of Congolese include democratic rights, language right, equality right, legal right, freedom of movement, freedom of religion, which we redefine by law, freedom of expression and speech, freedom of assembly and association, right of referendum by citizen uh, initiative, RIC. This right and freedom will be clearly defined in the Congolese Charter of Right and Freedom as well as in the Department Code of Human Rights. These two documents will be created by the Congolese after audit and evaluation throughout the nation. We're going to do audit. Apply for a Congolese passport without setting up Congolese passport office in each department and by the designation of authorities in charge of approving and issuing Congolese passport. The Congolese passport will allow Congolese to return to Congo Brazzaville at any time after traveling or living abroad. Okay, so that's just that part about the Congolese passport. Let me see if I can jump to. Uh, so it's a lot going on because of the time, you know. And ask us any question. I put my email here on YouTube and on Facebook. They can also ask questions. But this document, basically, I want to go to the uh, government. So we're going to go to a transition. We ask for a transition after we get rid of the dictator. We ask to go to a transition with the help of the United Nations. We're going to go to the United Nations to ask for a motion to help us uh, install that vision with about, we asked for about 40,000 troops to help us move these guys out of power. Once the guy, Mr. Sassou Nguesso is out, we're going to need the United Nations, we're going to go to the United Nations, ask for a resolution or a motion to help us, Congo Brazzaville, make that transition so there is no civil war. So because we're going to have to dismantle, when you're going to read, if you go, you'll be down, you're going to see we're going to dismantle the military, dismantle all these militias, and give an opportunity to basically start fresh, and it's going to be a lot of work. It's a process like we building a whole country somehow, actually, uh, a gradual process of restructuring stuff, auditing, and talking to our foreign partners to make sure that the business deals that we make don't benefit just a few, but also benefit the country, and the most important that the Congo get built, because the Congo Brazzaville have not been built under these guys. They destroyed. They brought it back 100 years. So it's more poverty than we never had before. So we have to reverse that trend of hatred. We're gonna have the mbongi, those discussion between people, between different tribes, start to heal all this pain that we've been going through for over 40 years. What happened to those wars? We're going to try and put in place a process of compensation or reparation for the victims, or for the different departments who have been hit very hard, so we can give people a chance to rebuild. So this document, this manifesto, is very powerful, is very detailed. It basically align the biggest issue that our country has, and how do we go about fixing it. What happened when we get rid of dictator? What kind of a country we're gonna have? That's what the manifesto of the Congolese Dream is about. And I urge you to really download it, read it, and please support it. Support us. Support us, because freedom is not just about having a so-called people that have been voted into power. Because we see in Africa what they've been doing those past few years, not just in Congo Brazzaville. The dictators have been stealing elections. And they came on TV and make you think that they've been elected by the people when they didn't. Why? Because they have the army, they have the militias, they beat people, they kill people, and they jail opponents. So it's not just about voting. It's about also a system, a process, a system that keep everybody accountable, keep the politician accountable, keep the business people accountable, and make sure that the life of the population move up. We want the creation of a middle class in Congo Brazzaville. We have to go from the mediocrity that we're in to the creation of a middle class, and of course, to build people to wealth, encourage people to be entrepreneurs, to become rich. The reality, we have the resources. We have the resources. The resources belong to the Congolese people. They don't belong to actually whoever come work on the resources. They made a contract, they made a deal with some politician 60, 70 years ago. We also would like to have our own deals on the table, but the type of deals that give us some ownership, more ownership, and give us more access to our rich natural resources too. And also the responsibility to create jobs, to create businesses, and to put people to work. Not everybody can gonna have a bachelor degree. You have to have for a country who is not completely built, we need people to work. We need to create jobs. So that's what this process allows us to do with this manifesto. And we're asking for the support of the international community, for United States, for Canada, the support of Canada, of United States, the United States government, the United States organization, even our brothers, the African American communities, to help us build that country in Africa. It's a beautiful small country, 4.5 million people, who've been destroyed by a dictator for the past 40 years. So help us get this guy out of there. We're going to need financial support. We're gonna need uh, political pressure to get him out of there. So we can put together this process, which being uh, worked on by Congolese. This can happen, but we're gonna need you to come with us, and we're also gonna need more Congolese to show support and to voice their support publicly for the implementation of the manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville. So we do have a direction, we do have a vision, we do have a dream of where we're supposed to go. It's right here. The manifesto of the manifesto of the liberation of Congo Brazzaville, or the manifesto of the Congolese Dream. Or we also call it the Congolese Dream of the 12 Department for New Congo Brazzaville. It's right. So the link is there. Please download it, share it, talk about it, and to all of my other brothers from and sisters from other African countries, especially English-speaking countries, you can see we also want to build our country, because we're proud to see countries like Ghana or Nigeria the way they build their country. They in Africa. When you go there, you can see that they have the infrastructure, they have the electricity, they have water. So we need to have that also in a part of in the French part of Africa, the part that was colonized by France. We're still 100 years behind. So we got to get that done. And this manifesto is the basis, is the vision put together by the civilians, the civil society of Congo Brazzaville, put together by men and women who want to give their country a chance. But we have to get rid of the dictator first. We have to get rid of the dictator first. And that's really important. And we hope to gain your support. We hope to gain your love. We hope to gain your understanding. Please read it. It's a very powerful document, and it's history making for us in our country, because this never been done in Congo Brazzaville. This is new to all of them, but to us, it's the future. Okay, thank you very much again. It's Gervais Birongi here. This was the first presentation of the Manifesto for the Liberation of Congo Brazzaville, the Manifesto of the Congolese Dream. Thank you guys again, and thanks again let me thanks here on Facebook first. Joe Kuti said, Julian Ngoma, this is another mindset that we need to impose in Congo. Yes, no, we share. They need to embrace it. Thank you to Bernard Pungi. Thank you to Edith Foligan. Thank you, Edith. She said bonjour, mon beau. Thank you. Thank you to George Siba. Thank you. Thank you to Peter Kimpalan Tela. Thank you to Justin Gomon Gomo. Thank you to Flavien Gervais Milongo. He said your plan is quite encouraging. Are you going to publish your project and read it? It's for the people. It's for you. You're absolutely right. So and thank you to Justin Goman Gomo. Thank you for Roland Crisbert. Thank you to Ngolu d'Afrique. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. And thank you here also on YouTube. This is my first live, on YouTube. So I hope that you give us the chance to transform that country and take it to the Congolese Dream. Thank you very much. So I'm going to finish here first on Facebook. Thank you again, everybody. God bless you guys.